Alright, so the jab. This video is all about the jab. Boxing fundamentals. If you're new to boxing, you're going to love this series, this punch perfect series I've put together. So we've got the jab, and we're focusing on all the other punches as well in this series. Check the playlist out on the channel to see the other videos that are featured in this. But yeah, we're going to be focusing all about the jab. I'm going to dial into technique. We're going to talk about common mistakes with the jab and how to fix them if you're on the coaching side. So hopefully get some systems and cues that you can use when you're teaching this to your beginners, or even if you're just drilling it with experienced boxers and going back to the fundamentals. We're going to dive right into the technique of how to perfect the jab, the purpose of the jab. We're also going to go over common mistakes and how to fix those in your sessions, so a lot on the coaching side. And then we're going to put everything into practice on the mitts as well, so you can see how we can start to really dial in the mitt technique when we're catching this punch. All right, so we're all about the jab today. Let's get to it. All right, so guys, so we're going to take it as if Nina's never boxed before, and we're going to work on the very first punch. So before we can teach her the first punch, we're going to need a system to get her into the right stance and understand how she should stand first. Typically, once you've done the stance, then you would introduce the basic footwork and movement. Go over all this in the Ultimate Guide to Boxing Fitness Coaching. It gives you a whole system for teaching beginners. So we're going to kind of fast forward through that a little bit so we can get to the jab, because that's what we're here for today. So let's just start with the basic stance, and in the video I'm going to show you how I would coach the stance first. So your first question we always ask is, are you left-handed or right-handed? So are you left-handed or right-handed? You're right-handed. So we're going to stand with the left side forward. To get them in the perfect stance, a couple of cues that I like to use. Number one, imagine there's a line on the ground. You're going to put 1 foot either side of that line with loose knees, as if you're on a surfboard or skateboard, right? I try to stay away from the cue bent knees, because people tend to kind of go into a squat position, which we don't want. So we just want to kind of loose knees to get that feel. Right, so hands are going to be either side of the face like this. Make a fist, thumbs just outside the fingers. Yep, perfect, nice and relaxed. Elbows in, right? Loose knees, okay. So that would be the basic way I would coach the stance, right? So let's get to the jab. So how do we coach the jab? So we're going to tell them first thing, the jab is going to be your lead hand or your front side. So for a right-handed or orthodox boxer, that's going to be the left hand. The first thing we want to focus on with the jab is not worrying about stepping or being explosive or any of that kind of stuff. That can all come later in sessions. You can develop that over the weeks as you do more one-on-one sessions. So now we've kind of got them in the basic stance. We're going to focus on the jab. First thing we want to explain, if it's a brand new boxer, they don't really know what a jab is, or we assume that they don't. So we explain to them it's going to be your front side. So for an orthodox / right-handed boxer, that's going to be the left hand. So first thing we want to focus on with this is what's the arm doing? That's what we really need to focus on. A lot of coaches might be talking about stepping with it or being explosive or whatever, and that stuff can all come later on down the line. When we're working with someone for the first time, we want to make sure that everything's as simple and as easy to understand as possible. And the main thing that we need to get down right now in this first session or these early sessions is what is the arm doing and how do we actually execute the punch, right? So that's where I'm going to start. So when we throw the jab, and what I'm going to do is give her a little visual, so I can turn around for a second. Just always want to try and maintain face time and eye contact with your clients, but just give them a little visual from their perspective to start. So when we throw the jab, it's going to be your front hand, your lead hand, right? We're going to fully extend the arm all the way out. We're going to turn that fist over so the knuckles land nice and flat. We're going to bring it right back to your chin as fast as you can, right? I want a slight hip turn, so all the way out, all the way back, slight hip turn. Let's try it. Good. Now I want you to exhale. So when I say go, just throw your jab, just nice and steady. Imagine you're trying to punch me in the face right there. Ready? Go. Good. Go. Good. Go. Nice. Good. So that's the main thing we want to focus on with somebody, is just for the first time boxing or first few sessions, what is the arm doing, and what are the main key points that we want to get across with that jab. And it's what is the arm doing, and it's a full extension, a slight hip turn, and hand back to the chin. Those are the main cues you want to use when teaching that jab. So now we can explain to them a little bit more in depth what the jab is for, right? So we can say, okay, let's throw the jab. So hands up when I say go, throw your jab, jab. Good. All right, so that jab there is your range finder. So that's going to make sure that you know where you are when you've landed it to be able to throw your power punches, which we're going to get to later on, right? It's also good for defense. So if I was trying to come in and attack, boom, you can use that jab to keep your opponent at range too. So no shift of the weight in the legs, no over rotation, no screwing the feet, nothing complicated like that at this point, no stepping. We're just trying to get that left side working. Especially with somebody who's right-handed, right? This is their non-dominant side. So we want them to feel as comfortable as possible moving that non-dominant side, because it's not going to feel comfortable, right? It's your non-dominant side. All right, so let's try it again. So I'm just going to drill it a couple more times. Now she's got those cues in the head. So all the way out, all the way back, jab. And you can catch it nice and light on the hand if you want to. Good. I try and avoid catching it early like that so they can get used to shadow boxing, right? And they're not completely reliant on you from the start. All right, all the way out, all the way back. Go. Good. Go. good. Just slow it down a touch, doesn't have to be explosive yet. Go, good. All right, we just got that slight hip turn going on. All right, so there's your jab, relax. So yeah, just wanted to give you a quick system of how to approach coaching the jab for the first time. Notice I didn't go into too much detail. The only cues I really gave there were full extension of the arm, turn the fist over and come all the way back, slight hip turn. That's pretty much it. So when you're working with someone for the first time, those are the only things you really need to focus on. Like I said, all the technical elements of the jab, about the step in and driving the shoulder forward or anything like that, all that can come later. Now, if you notice mistakes from the beginning where they're kind of dropping down or they're elbowing it or they're over rotating, then obviously you would go and correct that. And we'll get into that in a little bit later on in the video when we get to common mistakes and how to correct them. But right now, I just want to give you a real basic introduction to if you're taking on new clients and you're not quite sure how to cue and coach the jab. Hopefully now you know how to keep it simple and you've got 2 or 3 cues that you can use right there straight away. But always starting with that stance first. I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can improve your jab real quick. So number 1, try throwing it from the reverse stance. So if you're an orthodox boxer and you're so used to doing this and you want to try and improve your jab, start trying to throw it from the southpaw stance. Start getting used to throwing it from your dominant side as well. That'll give you a little bit of confidence on the mechanics, because a lot of the time you're throwing it, well, if you're right-handed, you're throwing your left side, right? It can feel awkward. If you just go into a southpaw stance every now and again when you're shadowboxing or you're just practicing your technique, that's going to feel a lot more natural because it's your dominant side, right? So you can ask yourself, like, what am I doing? Okay, you'll be able to understand the mechanics a little bit more because you're doing it from your dominant side, and then just trying to apply those things to the non-dominant side. So try it in the opposite stance to which you box. It might help build a bit more confidence in your jab. The second thing is the elbow, right? When you throw your jab, just try not to lead with the elbow. That's something that we see a lot of, and it's a common mistake, and we'll get to that when we get to the mitts in a second, but try not to lead with the elbow like this. You want to try and lead with the shoulder and the hip more. Lead with the shoulder and the hip, and that just kind of follows the direction of the fist. If you concentrate on driving the shoulder forward like this with the hip turn, the elbow will stay in a lot easier, right? It should be in the width of your body, right? Boom, it shouldn't come out like this. So just try and think about shoulder and hip a little bit more and let the elbow just kind of follow the direction of the fist. So there's a second way you can improve and straighten out that jab a little bit. All right, the third one is visualize a straight line too. So from your fist to the target, punch straight along that line. I kind of touched on this on point 2 with the elbow, but if you just think about driving it down a straight line every single time, that might help. So visualize a straight line from shoulder to target, and that might help you give a bit of direction and accuracy with the jab as well. Number 4, exhale with the punch. Sometimes I see people trying to force the jab or try and get too much power into it. It's not really a power punch. It can be, but 9 times out of 10 it's there to set up the power punches and find the range. So just try and relax with it. Just kind of flick it out, obviously tighten the fist and exhale. Exhaling is going to help you relax. So if I'm here and I throw my jab and I hold the breath, technique's going to get off because I'm holding all that tension in the body. If I exhale and release that with the punch, I'm going to be way looser and my technique's probably going to be a little bit better or easier to execute. Make the sound if you need to. So number 4, to help you with your jab, exhale, focus on your breathing. Number 5, sounds pretty common sense, but repetition. If you can just constantly, every single day you're practicing your boxing, just throwing tons of jabs over and over and over again and constantly thinking about the technique, repetition is key. If you're only comfortable throwing your cross and your body shots and your hooks and you're neglecting your jab's not going to get better. If you're always throwing that jab non-stop, every single day, multiple jabs, double jabs, triple jabs, that's going to help you get that technique. That repetition is absolutely key. The jab is the punch you should be throwing more than anything else. Now, if you want a little tip for structuring it, set yourself a timer for 3 3-minute rounds. Give yourself 30, 45 second rest or a minute rest, whatever you need for the rest. But your first 3 rounds of your next shadowboxing session or your next heavy bag session, you can only throw your jab, right? There's variations of it. You can jab to the body, jab to the head, double, triple, and so on. But if you're only throwing your jab for 3 minutes straight for 3 rounds, that jab's going to improve, especially if you're doing that a couple of times a week. So there's 5 ways you can improve your jab. Let's get to the mitts. Let's get back to the coaching and how do we coach the jab on the mitts. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Quick pause in the video just to let you know about my latest video package, The Ultimate Guide to Boxing Fitness Coaching. If you go to boxingfitnesscoaching.com, you'll get all the information on there. Just a quick minute, while I've got you, just to let you know what's in there. If footwork drills, heavy bag drills, programming your sessions is something that you struggle with, or you need a little bit of help or guidance or inspiration with, just to kind of freshen things up in your sessions, check that out, because in that video package I've put in there 10 really complex boxing combinations that will really help build the skill set for your clients and you as a pad holder and boxing coach. There's also lectures in there from me on things that have worked in my career, on networking, growing your clientele, retaining clients, all that kind of thing. There's also a 6-week training plan in there, so you can use that with your clients. There's footwork drills in there. There's small group training drills for the heavy bag. A ton of stuff. Check it out, boxingfitnesscoaching.com for the ultimate guide to boxing fitness coaching. The link is below. You can use code GLENVIP at checkout, GLENN VIP at checkout, and that'll give you $100 off the package as well. And let me know what you think if you get that package. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the video. All right, so we've gone over how to coach the jab from the beginning, some basic cues you can use. I've gone over ways you can improve your jab as well, but now we're on the coaching side. We've got the mitts on, we've got the gloves on. How do we catch it? How do we call for it? How do we correct common mistakes as well? So we're going to do that on the mitts now. So the way I like to catch the jab, I stand in the same stance. So orthodox boxer, I'm going to stand in an orthodox stance. So it's going to be left hand to left pad, right? Left to left, right? Just hold that out. Yep. So it's meeting that right there. Now, the main thing with this when you catch the jab, a couple of common pad work mistakes that I see, let's address that first, is kind of holding it too high like this. I'll see coaches hold it up here for some reason and go jab. And now if you're training your boxers to fight somebody taller, then that would make sense. But if we're doing this for fitness, we want good technique, right? This video is all about perfecting the technique. So we want to hold it at shoulder height. So make sure you can measure it first like that. I want it right there, nice and long, and make sure the distance is good. Now what I want to be doing with that is meeting the punch without jamming it and smothering it, and I don't want to be pulling away like this either. I want to make sure that she's got a good solid contact. Creating confidence with the jab, especially with somebody new to boxing, is absolutely crucial. The way you're going to create that confidence and make your clients feel good is by creating a good solid impact, and you're going to do that by slightly meeting the punch 6 to 8 inches and tightening up the pad on impact. As I'm doing that, I'm going to watch her technique and make sure that she's exhaling, turning the hip, turning the fist over, and it feels solid for me and she's tightening that fist. All the things that we talked about at the beginning of the video. Now for the calls, I'm just going to simply hold the pad and shout jab or call for the jab, right? And I like to exhale with them and turn with them as well to give them that visual. So let's try it. Jab, good. Jab, good. So you notice right there, I'm holding the target first, and then she doesn't have to do anything until I tell her to jab, right? Jab, good. Jab, good. Notice how I'm bringing the pad down as well, so it's clear as soon as she's landed that jab. We're not doing anything else, but just waiting for the next punch. Jab, good. Bring it down. Jab, good. Jab, nice, good. Relax. Let's address some common mistakes. So with the jab, the number one common mistake I see is the elbow lifting, which I touched on ways to improve your jab a minute ago. But how do we correct that on the mitts? So just throw a jab where you lift the elbow out a little bit. So it's going to shorten up the punch, right? Almost like a jab slash hook. So we want to avoid this elbow from lifting. We want the elbow coming forward so that then she's got full range, right? If the elbow's bent and the elbow's lifted, she's not keeping me at full range. So that's what we want with the jab. We want it full range all the way out, all the way back, okay? So to correct that, sometimes what I do is like to switch stance, go into a southpaw stance. No, you can stay orthodox. And I just kind of hold my mitt here and I'm going to ask Nina to turn the hip a little bit with the punch and throw the jab, but try and avoid this pad with the elbow. So just lift the elbow for a second, throw it, boom. Straight away, she's going to touch the pad. So now I want you to think about driving the shoulder and fist forward, let the elbow follow the fist, and avoid this pad right here. Good, again. Good. So straight away, the thing that's happening right there, she's avoiding the pad, keeping the elbow in, but now she's not fully rotating the fist. She's kind of half in the fist like that. So now I want you to do the same again, but really turn that fist over. So that's why we get the common mistake, because people try and turn that fist over, and in order to turn it over, they feel like they're gonna lift that elbow. You don't, it's just boom, boom. You can still turn the fist over, but don't lift the elbow. So let's try that. Better, again. Good. Try and fully extend your arm. Good. Get them knuckles right in the middle. Good. Just coming up a little bit. That's better. Turn the hip. Good, again. Nice, one more. Good, rest. Yeah, it's good. So that's one way you can correct that or work on that elbow lift, is by just holding that right pad. Just go into a southpaw stance or opposite stance for a second. bring it in and can help them with that. It just gives them a little visual cue to avoid lifting that elbow. All right, second common mistake we see is trying to get too much power and forcing the jab. So don't worry about trying to like slam it in there or like really force it. The jab is mostly about just kind of, it's more about speed and just kind of touching, bam, bam. It's a sharp, explosive punch, but it's not really designed to knock anybody out. So we want to be nice and sharp with it, fast shoulder. We don't want to wind it up either. That's another common mistake. We see people dropping it and trying to load up like that to get the power. So avoid power. Don't even think about power. Just think about accuracy and speed, right? We want to touch and back, touch and back. So that's just going to come from driving the shoulder forward. We're not recoiling or dropping or loading anything up. Just straight out, straight back. Good. Ready? Jab. Good. Jab. Good. A little bit longer. Extend the arm. Jab. Good. All the way out. That's it. And again. Good. One more. Nice. Good. Rest. So let's go to common mistakes. So an example of that common mistake would be like, boom, big wind up. Let me see how that, yeah, big wind up and then throw the jab. Ready? Boom. Yeah, we want to avoid that, right? So we just think about no counter movements. We're not pulling back and then throwing it. We're not dropping the hand and then throwing it forward. It's from the chin, boom, straight out, straight back. Go. Good again. Good again. Good. Rest. So yeah, good work, Nina. So if you see that as well, so that drop of the glove and then coming in, or turning the shoulder back and then trying to throw it, a couple of common mistakes we see as well. People trying to load up and drive that jab in with too much power. It's from here, straight out, straight back, okay? So there's a way you can kind of cue that as well. So a couple of common mistakes you can address: elbow up, keep that pad out, switch southpaw. Second common mistake, loading it up. Remember, just cue them. It comes from the chin all the way out, all the way back. Eliminate the need for power with the punch. All right, jab. Good. Nice long arm. Turn that fist all the way over. Good. Moving around. Breathe in. Jab. Good. Extend your arm. Good. Again. Nice. Moving back. Jab. Good. Jab. Good. Land them 2 front knuckles every time. Jab. Good. Again. Good. Nice quick arm. Good. Again. Good. Moving back. Jab. Good. One more. Nice. Relax. Good stuff. All right, guys, so there you have it, all about the jab. Check out the other videos in this Punch Perfect series. We've got the hook, the cross. I'm going to do more on these as well, so stay tuned for those coming on the channel. But hopefully you got some tips. If you're coaching in boxing fitness or working with fighters, hopefully you got something out of this you can go and use in your sessions. If you're boxing yourself, hopefully you got something out of this that's going to help you improve your jab, some things that you can go and work on in the gym. That's always my goal with this channel, is to give you things that you can go and take and use straight away in your sessions, whether you're coaching or whether you're boxing or you're new to boxing and you're just learning. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, that way you're going to get notified of the videos each week. Hit the bell notification, jab the bell notification, and then leave your comments below. If you have any questions on the jab, how you can improve it, if you want to get more out of this video, leave stuff in the comments. Here's the Punch Perfect series on the cross. Check that out as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.